Get more on this with Cynthia Farahat. She's a fellow at the Middle East Forum. Cynthia, thanks for joining us. Cynthia, no official claim of responsibility, but who is most likely behind this?
I believe the Muslim Brotherhood is definitely a suspect because they have declared Nafir, which is the Islamic jurisprudence term for total war against Coptic Christians back in 2013. So I believe that the Muslim Brotherhood, even if it was claimed by ISIS, the leader, the caliph of ISIS himself used to be a member of the Muslim Brotherhood himself. So I believe that the Brotherhood has definitely, their teachings are involved if they're not even directly involved in this attack.
So why are they targeting? Why are they targeting Coptic Christians? Why specifically is that the focus?
Because this is a war of ideologies, and that's a war of ideas. I have a serious problem with just approaching it from a militaristic perspective. You cannot defeat ideologies with militaries. The Egyptian government has been spreading this radical Islamic Sunni Wahhabi rhetoric through al-Azhar University in Cairo, and the government funds. It's the biggest Islamic university in the world, and there are currently almost 300,000 students studying there. Of those is 39,000. And guess what they are learning? They are learning the theological legitimacy of cannibalizing non-Muslims. They are taught, even the schools, the students are taught in a book called الإقناع في حل ألفاظ ابن أبي شجاع, how to gouge out the eyes of the infidels and how to mutilate non-Muslims. That is funded by the Egyptian government. If they really wanted to counter terrorism, they would stop funding Al-Azhar University that has been responsible for giving us some of the world's most brutal terrorists. Abdullah Azzam, who's called the founder of
Who is funding this university, Cynthia? This is a government-funded institution?
The government.
The government of el-Sisi.
So, yes, and all the Egyptian governments before him. He needs to stop funding it. You have the leader of Boko Haram, Abu Bakr Shekau, was a graduate of al-Azhar University. The blind sheikh who masterminded the 1993 World Trade Center bombings was a scholar at al-Azhar University. The Nazi Mufti of Jerusalem, Amin al-Husseini, studied at al-Azhar University. There are numerous terrorists around the world. Osama al-Masri, who is the mastermind behind the Russian plane terrorist attack in Sinai, was a graduate of al-Azhar University. There is a pattern when they are teaching literally the theological legitimacy of how to eat a non-Muslim and kill him. That is a problem. That is how you counter terrorism. Egypt currently is putting the scholars who started to reject this narrative in prison. The Sheikh Abdullah Nasr, who is known as the Sheikh of the Revolution, is pushing for a very moderate, non-theocratic form of Islam that denounces the Wahhabi Sunni sect.
So, Cynthia,
he's been sentenced to 13 years.
Cynthia, what would you like to see being done, both by Egypt and by the international community, and particularly with regards to funding this institution?
Al-Azhar University is a global security threat. They are their scholars and the people who were taught there were responsible in numerous terrorist attacks around the world, some of the most horrific ones, including 9/11. The blind sheikh was the scholar who taught Osama bin Laden. I would like to see the international community investigate al-Azhar University for possible ties to terrorism, and I would like to see Egyptian government immediately stop funding of this university. I would also like to see President Donald Trump designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist group. These are the ways to fight this radical ideology, and President Sisi needs to immediately release Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Nasr from prison. He has been sentenced to 13 years. Guess for what? For denouncing cannibalism. That is grotesque and absolutely unacceptable.
All right, Cynthia Farahat, thank you for your insight. British counterterrorism officials believe that they have rounded up most of the people connected